Hello everyone, and welcome to this installment of Off the Streets Productions. Today's episode, we are at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. This is us walking through the Midway area, the entryway. We had early entry because we stayed at the Express Hotel that's owned by Cedar Point. And also I'm a Platinum Pass holder for Cedar Point, which gives me access to all the parks they own. My home park is here in North Carolina at Carowinds. But this is my first time ever up to Cedar Point, and oh my god, the expectations were definitely met. Some of the best roller coasters I've ever been on in my life. I've always wanted to go to this park ever since I was a little kid. I grew up going to amusement parks with my parents. One of the first amusement parks I was ever at was Hershey Park when I was a baby. I was going through photo albums a couple months ago, and I found a picture of myself at Hershey Park in one of the kiddie rides as like a toddler, if even younger. But I have fond memories of going to Agawam, Mass, Riverside, and which ended up becoming Six Flags over New England. But here we are. I went on the Raptor. That was the first ride of the day. They have very strict locker and bag requirements there. If you cannot ride a roller coaster with anything in your pockets or on your person. If you have a bag, you got to put it in a locker. Steel Vengeance makes you go through a metal detector, and they have free lockers where you got to put stuff in. I'm sure if you're a CP enthusiast or amusement park enthusiast, you probably have watched other videos that are more in depth of Cedar Point than mine's going to be. This is not really my niche. I just like to show where I go and where I go on my adventures, and this just ended up being one of my adventures. I would definitely go back to Cedar Point one day and plan my trip a little bit better. We started at 9 o'clock in the morning at the park and did not leave until they closed at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and we ran around that place all day long running. I must have been on every single ride at least 4 times. I also had the Fast Pass Plus, which gave us access to cut the lines, basically. This is kind of the arcade area that we're walking by. There's Johnny Rockets to my right. Max Air, which is broken down, is in front of us. Wicked Twister, that's about to come down at the end of the season. And the Ferris wheel right next to those two coasters is the Gatekeeper, which is a coaster that cuts right over the gates of Cedar Point. It's awesome ride. My favorite ride of the park is probably Valraven. That roller coaster is so badass. You should definitely check out YouTube videos of that. I was waiting for a response from Cedar Fair to let me see if I could use footage of the roller coaster spliced into my video. They never got back to me in time, and I was already taking too long of putting this together. I feel like it should have been done last week. Also, if you couldn't hear the music in the background, I'm playing some bands from Ohio to help fill the music in the background. I can't believe I have another 8 minutes of me talking about this park. I really don't know what else more to say besides it's been around since 150 years ago. Recently, they were in the news. A lady got hurt waiting in line for Top Thrill Dragster. A piece of metal came and hit her in the head. And I hope everything goes well with that family. My thoughts and prayers out to that family. Such a tragic event happened. And Cedar Point in replay shut the ride down for the remainder of the season. Let's see what happens next year. But everyone should send out their thoughts and prayers to that lady and their family, the victim of the accident at that park on that weekend in August. I was fortunate enough to get on that ride, and it was an awesome ride. It was probably it was badass ride. All day I made it on every single roller coaster through this park and didn't lose my hat. I fastened the hat the way I fastened my hat on every other roller coaster through this park, right over through the metal and clasp it down, and it's fine. Top Thrill Dragster, nope. That one took my hat. So I had to end up buying a new hat, and I got a Steel Vengeance hat. That roller coaster, Steel Vengeance, that's another one that's a bomb-ass roller coaster. It was it's a hybrid type thing. It's B&M. I wish I knew all more of this lingo of roller coasters. I just like riding them. There's probably people who are going to be like, oh, it's a BMM Hyperloop, blah, 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 blah. I just enjoy it. If it goes fast and it does things and makes me have my adrenaline pump. I'm good. Let's go. But this season, while I was visiting, they announced that they were going to do their renewing of the season pass for a discount, and I ended up grabbing a platinum pass again, and this time adding Fast Pass Plus. So now I don't have to pay for anything when I go to the parks. I could just show up and ride the rides, and it could be anywhere. All I got to do is pay for a hotel if I go out of state. So that's really encouraging. I can't wait to do Scarowinds this year down in Charlotte, which is coming up in October. Yeah, this is Frontierland. It's like kind of like the Old West and Pioneer Days, which is really cool. I ended up clocking almost 20 miles the first day that we were there. It was quite a hike. It was quite a trek. So, yeah. Also, the drive was a nice drive. It took about 8 hours from here, from North Carolina, in the Charlotte area. Did 2 days in the park. The second day it rained for the first 3 hours, and the rides didn't open up until 1. And then it got so freaking humid, and I was so sore from the day before running around in this park. It was so humid the first day too. But the second day we did it until about 3 o'clock, and then it started raining again. So it kind of was a wash the second day because I was in so much pain. Maverick is also another favorite one of mine. Millennium Force is another great one, which is to the left there, that blue one. We only got to ride that one once because soon after something happened to it where it didn't work anymore. I don't know why. I wanted to go on it again, but I couldn't. The only rides we didn't do were the wet ones, like the Flume ride and the Rapids ride. With that humidity and that type of weather that day, I was not about to get wet and be sticky for the rest of the day. No way. I was already sticky enough from sweat. My personal suggestion when you go to these amusement parks, do not waste your money on that food pass thing, the all-day dining. The food is terrible, and it's such slim options. I've been to 2 different amusement parks this summer, or 2 different chains of amusement parks, and both chains I was not impressed with the food pass at all. Hershey Park was not very happy with, and I was not happy with Cedar Fair's food pass either. The drink pass I'm not happy with either, nor at Hershey, nor at Cedar Fair. I'm a water drinker. I don't really like sodas, and I gotta buy a water every time I need a new water for $2.50 a pop or $2.75 a pop, and I drink a lot of water definitely running around these parks, definitely in the summer. It's hot. The locker situation, that's another one that was really making me mad, definitely at this park because it's so big. I ended up just taking the GoPro back to the car and leaving it because at one point we had one locker on one side of the park, we had another locker on the other side of the park, and then we had one in the middle, and we were just jumping around from each one and trying to remember where we were at. And then by the time the expiration on the locker happened, we got back to that side of the park and wanted to go on rides again. And we were like, you know something, let's just drop this off at the car. It'll be so much easier. I already got enough footage for the day. Like, I ended up cutting up this footage into 10 minutes long, 11 and a half minutes long out of like 3-4 hours of footage of the GoPro. The park was adamant about not letting me wear the GoPro on the rides. I was like, come on, you can just harness me right into it's attached to my backpack. They didn't want to hear anything about it. They're also very strict about it. If they see you with a cell phone on the ride, they stop the ride and they eject you. That's Top Thrill Dragster, by the way. That ride is awesome. Like I said, every ride you had to have there it goes. I was hoping there would be a clip of it in the video. Everybody get a chance to go to Cedar Point at least once in your life. You will definitely enjoy it. I also suggest going through their hotel chains. They have two hotels, a campground, and a resort, a golf type resort now. Hotel Express, Hotel Breakers, and I don't know what the campsite is called, and I don't know what the golf course one is called, and it's right on the Lake Erie of the Great Lakes. I will definitely be going back next year, probably more than once. It was a blast. Now that I know what to expect, I'm going to plan accordingly and a little bit differently. Our next video is me walking around Third Man Records in Detroit. I went there the Thursday, the week that I was up there, and I got to visit the Third Man Records store and the record plant. It was closed though, but I got to take some footage through the windows, so that was a lot of fun. and I bought some cool third man stuff while I was there. I'm also a pin collector at the park, so and bands and any cool pins, I like to collect them. But I got all the ride pins from Cedar Point. So if anyone that sees these videos and you ever end up running into me at any of these parks, let me know. We'll ride some rides together, or if you want to know what parks I'm going to next year, keep in touch, and maybe we'll make plans. I do know I'm planning on hitting up every single Cedar Fair park in the country on the East Coast, so at least more than once, and I'll definitely be going back to Cedar Point at least twice next year. Like I said, I have the Fast Pass Plus, and I have the Platinum Pass, so I won't be paying for anything except water and probably a hotel. So cheers, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed my videos. I'm sorry for there was a 2-week delay in between. 1 week I was on this trip, and then last week I was working on taking care of all the photos I took. And remember, we're not each other's enemies, and like and subscribe. And if you get up to Sandusky, definitely check out Cedar Point. This is probably me just arguing with my friend that I went with about how the locker situation sucks and how we have to go from one side of the park to the other. It was a hot day, but like I said, like and subscribe, everyone. We are not each other's enemies. We also are on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Off the Streets Productions on both of those. We also opened up offthestreetsproductions.com. We also would like to shout out to Repro Tees for all your custom and vintage t-shirt needs. Hit them up. Thank you. Have a great night. And remember, we're not each other's enemies.